there are four corner attack. One is GLOF, the infrastructure. Then you have got this thing, the pricing, and there's a marketing also problem is there.
I think the industry, the tourism sector is struggling quite a bit.
Hundreds of crores got wiped up from the books of account of the hotels.
Economic activities were stopped abruptly.
The numbers I told you, like we've done barely 30% of revenue.
Now, after 3 years down the line, we still haven't reached the pre-COVID level.
Sikkim, a jewel of the Himalayas, has always been known as a thriving tourist destination. Known for its breathtaking landscapes and vibrant culture, the state welcomed over 16 lakh tourists in 2019, supporting countless livelihoods. Compare this to the fact that Sikkim's population is barely over 6 lakh according to the 2011 census. But the last few years have been tumultuous for the tourism sector. First, Sikkim, like the rest of the country, was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent lockdowns. Just as the state was beginning to recover, disaster struck again after it was hit by a Glacial Lake Outburst Flood, or GLOF, in 2023, which drastically reduced footfall in this Himalayan paradise. The GLOF, triggered by the collapse of the South Lhonak Lake, wreaked havoc on the state, especially in areas along the Teesta River. Towns like Chungthang were 80% destroyed, with bridges and roads, including parts of the vital National Highway 10, washed away. NH10, the lifeline connecting Gangtok to Siliguri, suffered extensive damage. The floods also displaced thousands, claimed numerous lives, and disrupted essential infrastructure, compounding the economic challenges for a state already struggling to recover post-COVID. We spoke to Shraddha Sharma, the president of the Sikkim Hotel and Restaurant Association. Shraddha is also one of the directors of Skipping Stones Private Limited, which owns properties like Club Mahindra Resort in Baigune and Vivanta Sikkim in Pakyong, and has been in this industry for over 15 years. According to the hotelier, the state has still not been able to recover to its pre-COVID situation.
Pre-COVID, the tourism in Sikkim was at its peak. Now, after 3 years down the line, we still haven't reached the pre-COVID level, whereas our inventory, a lot of inventory, new inventory has been added into the whole system. So, I guess that is where things get very frightening. So that is the biggest concern. And after COVID also, we were unlucky enough to have GLOF happening, and that was supposed to be a bumper season. And suddenly, one day, the same October, November, December is supposed to be fantastic season for us, but then GLOF happened just at the beginning of a season, and hundreds of crores got wiped up from the books of account of the hotels all across the state.
It is evident that the tourism sector is grappling with declining footfall and rising competition. The addition of new hotels and homestays has outpaced the growth of tourist numbers. EastMojo also spoke to Penso Gyatso, the director of Our Guest, which is one of the largest property aggregators in Northeast India. According to Gyatso, Also, the General Secretary of Homestay Association of Sikkim, the number of hotels in the state is increasing every year, whereas the footfall of tourists has stagnated or declined, and the state of NH10 has a crucial role to play in this.
For me, it is very difficult to tell you how the industry in terms of footfall is, because that is, shouldn't be a random number that I come up with. The actual number of footfall, whether it's gone up or come down, the Department of Tourism will be able to tell you. But what I can say is that every year we have a lot of new inventory in terms of hotels and homestays that are adding, right? So let's assume even if we had 10 lakh visitors with X number of available inventory before, now that X number has become far more. So it's spread out a lot more. So it's not just the numbers that have gone up, it's actually the number of properties available that has gone up. So the industry does suffer because of the roads and the floods. As it is, that gain in that number, that's kind of stagnated, or it's actually declined a bit, is what we believe. But the number of available inventory has gone up. So it is a problem, yes. I think the industry, the tourism sector is struggling quite a bit.
The flood also caused extensive damage to the Teesta River ecosystem. Tourism, already fragile post-COVID, saw cancellations en masse. The situation is especially grim for the several thousand cab owners and proprietors of hotels and restaurants who have taken loans from banks. According to Lukendra Raseli, one of the pioneers of the tourism industry in Sikkim and former chairman of Sikkim Tourism Development Corporation, the monsoon season that followed the GLOF also caused major hindrances in restoring the NH10, prompting several hotels to bow out of the state.
Though it's good, monsoon is good for Indian economy, but like for the Himalayas, it's a bane. And because of that, the tourism sector was completely destroyed. One. The other thing is, at the same time, the road, the infrastructure maintenance was given to the West Bengal PWD. So for them also, like it came all of the sudden, then they could not put right machineries because of bad connectivity, and they could not repair in time. So that way, the number of 5,000 hotels we have around Sikkim, and then we have got around almost 1,182 homestays, and then we have got around 1,725 travel companies. All these people are dependent on tourism. So their economic activities were stopped abruptly. Due to that, even the drivers, we got around 22,000 taxi vehicles. They were also off road. They didn't get good business. And then that prompted the many hotels to leave.
I believe like NH10 will require a complete overhaul. So before NH10 goes for a complete overhaul, I think NH717 needs to be completed on a war footing, because at least one line of connectivity should remain, right? And that is what I am hoping for. I'm hoping that NH717 gets completed on a war footing in the next, I don't know whether it's possible or not, in the next the 8 to 10 months. And then like NH10 will really, according to a layman like me, I mean, will really need to go for a complete overhaul if the roads are not supposed to break every time it rains.
The situation also set off an unhealthy competition among the hotels. According to Raseli, several bigger hotels are slashing their prices, creating multiple challenges for the smaller hotels.
They are slashing the price, and they are coming down to that 3-star category or 2-star category pricing. And that way they are suffering from both the sides. One is the GLOF, the NH10, and there's the pricing. Because nowadays, you see, like the hotel pricing is, they do the dynamic costing. So late in the evening, you will find that the same hotel is sold at cheaper rate because they don't want to keep their rooms empty. So they have to come up from somewhere. They have to come up with the break even. So that way, there are four corner attack. One is GLOF, the infrastructure. Then you have got this thing, the pricing, and there's the marketing also problem is there.
Like I told you, the numbers I told you, like we've done barely 30% of revenue. That's in total. It's because our business, we are aggregators, right? We are like Airbnb. And so this number that I'm telling you is a combination of travel packages as well as property bookings that come from our website, right? Definitely there is a dip, and to maybe try and add to what you've asked about the transportation, yes, anywhere in the northeast transportation is very expensive, okay, especially when you look at the Innovas and all of these. Personally, if you ask me as an entrepreneur, I will say that I don't think it's in anybody's business to try and regulate rates, because that's very difficult. It's a free market economy. People will charge what they want based on the demand.
The situation in Sikkim may seem dire and the downturn is expected to last for some time. However, efforts from the government and private stakeholders are laying the groundwork for recovery. The tourism sector received some respite after the management of NH10 was handed over to the National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited.
We have the Department of Tourism. We have full-fledged department, and there is a minister, Mr. T.T. Bhutia is the minister, young and dynamic minister, and our Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Prem Singh Tamang. See, he is looking after the entire scenario about tourism. He is putting a lot of focus on tourism. So he has instructed, he called the BRO chief, he called the NHIDCL, he called all those people, like involved in the infrastructure development. He had several meetings. So that way, so the government focus is at the top. Like it's giving a lot of emphasis on the like recovery of tourism. But this time the government, Mr. Gole, what he has done is like he has kept the road, water supply, the power at the top priority, and including the tourism. So this way, this is only a like a temporary phase, whatever we are suffering, but the future is good.
Stakeholders also believe that with improved infrastructure and strategic planning, the state can bounce back stronger than ever. They also believe that along with NH10, the focus areas should also cover developing alternate routes, better infrastructure in the far-flung areas, and restoring air connectivity.
I'm very proud to say that the private sector of the travel fraternity in Sikkim is very vibrant, and it's been doing this business for a long time, the sector. So all we actually need is good, decent infrastructure for road connectivity. I like to bring in an example of Kashmir with North Sikkim all the time, because see, we need good rural electrification, because places like Lachung and Lachin, these are cold areas, right? And we want to be able to bring in better value tourism, people who are able to pay good value for the money that they are paying. They want to, you want to attract higher value customers. But all of those things are only possible if we provide good infrastructural facilities, right? Like in Lachung and Lachin, you can't have room heaters that are functioning well because electrification is very bad. And I compare it to similar areas like Kashmir, where they are able to provide so. So it's not an impossible situation. And if we work together between the private and the government, I'm sure we can do it.
Tourism industry as such is very resilient. Yeah, I mean in Sikkim especially, because like 2 years of lockdown, and we did not hear a outcry or anything after that. Like 2 more years of disaster, GLOF and everything else, and the highway going for a toss. Yeah, and we are still standing. We are a very resilient industry as such. All we need is connectivity by road, by air. Yeah, and I'm like, airport needs to get functional ASAP, I guess. I don't know what is the problem in that. We need to get more connected to the northeastern side, to Delhi, Mumbai. I mean, maybe even if Bagdogra is also connected by air to our airport, that would also be much more, better for us. At least it won't be a complete zero.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.